Hey, Neo4j fans out there. Thanks for joining us for the Neo4j online meetup. We are trying something a little new today where we're using a software called CROWDCAST to do the live streaming, which means the chats will not be live on the YouTube. They're going to be live on CROWDCAST. If you are watching on the YouTube live and you want to join the live chat room, in the description for the meetup, you will see the link for the CROWDCAST. Also in the description in the YouTube description, you will also find a link for the Neo4j Community Site for the presentations thread. So any links that we're going to be talking about throughout this presentation, we'll be sharing slides there afterwards, or if you have questions for the presenter or about the project after the live stream is over that you want to ask Via about, you can go right to the community site to ask her that. And that is also in the description for the YouTube. And before we get started, don't forget to join us next week where we have borehole data and visualization using GraphXR. It's going to be fun. And then also, if you haven't yet registered for it, we're going to be doing an awesome event. It's the Neo4j Online Developer Expo and Summit, Nodes 2019, happening in October. So it's going to be a bunch of like really awesome technical talks, and we're going to have a couple different tracks too. So it's pretty interesting. So if you haven't registered for it yet, you can. We will also include the link for it here in the chat room.
Yeah, we had to work hard for that acronym.
We did have to work hard for the acronym. It started as Neo4j Online Developer Summit. And I'm like, it's so close to being nodes. We just need an E in there somewhere. And then we tried to be like, okay, Neo4j Online Developer. What else? What did we come up with? I don't even remember, but none of them really made any sense.
Had to find an E. We've got it now.
I would say we should have called it like E-Summit, like electronic summit, like email. But everyone's like, that is old news. So I was like, to get us started, I'm going to introduce my colleague, Mark Needham, who is a developer relations engineer for Neo4j.
Cool. Hello, everybody.
Hi. And he also is the co-author for the Graph Algorithms book, which if you haven't gotten yet, you can get it for free on our site. And also our very special guest speaker. Bia, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi. It's really weird not to see anyone here, but to know that someone is over there.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Bea. I work as a scientist in Olympic Channel, and I've been working with graphs, well, theoretically since I was in the university, but now with databases, which is really much faster than what I did. So, yeah, that's mostly it. We can if you have any questions about what I do or whatever, you have the community thread in the description. Yeah.
She runs the Our Ladies meetup.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Like you're like organizing a big major meetup for women in technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess as Michael McKenzie points out in the chat, the Women's World Cup started today, so we've got just the right meetup. So Bea's going to be showing us how to analyze football data, always my favorite topic, using graphs and R. So it's like three beautiful things all in one. And David says you are a NASA data node as well.
Yeah.
How could you forget that?
I just forgot all of that.
You forgot everything. She's like, I'm Bia. If you have more questions, ask me later. Everyone's like, well, we'll tell you about yourself. Yeah, Bia's awesome.
I am an NASA data node, and I'm glad to say that first I studied with Neo because of David, who's here right now, and he's
David Mesa, who's Chief Knowledge Architect at NASA. For those who don't know, David.
And he started with a little project, and I just followed. And I did this model thanks to Mark's post about the World Cup, and I could do the model about that because it was little different from a table to a graph. It was a little bit different to visualize that, but yeah.
And then she also spoke at Graph Tour, and
yeah,
she's been doing a lot with our community. She's been very active. Mark, you inspired her. How does that feel? Oh, there's 80, and Mark is.
I'm sharing people the World Cup graph in case they've not seen that. This is the Men's World Cup, I guess, from last year.
That was awesome. Okay, cool. So I think we can get started now. Bia, if you'd like to. And now, if anybody has questions, feel free to ask on the chat. If it's right to do so, Mark will politely interrupt Bia and ask her the questions that you guys have. But like I said, you can also chat on my thread too. So it would also be available there.
Cool. So I guess, Bea, you can share your screen.
I can do that. This
just have you hover over, if you hover over your window thing. And also, if you like her presentation, please give her a thumbs up on YouTube.
Hey, yeah.
Make sure other people can find it too in the future. She's like, oh yeah, we have to do that too. If you hover over your window, you should be able to.
Okay, you can see my screen there. Kind of?
Yes. Oh, yes. Here we go.
Okay, perfect.
There we go.
So I have the presentation, which I hope to follow, but I also have the code open and whatever, so I will be switching back and forth, so we are not seeing only the slides.
Cool.
And so let's see this. Okay. So yeah, this is me. We already talked about that. And what I did was these two analyses. One was home advantage, and the other one was competitiveness. We will be talking about the definitions, and so don't worry, you will get them all. And I did this some months ago, so maybe the data isn't updated, but you can if you find new data, you can just follow this model and follow the scripts and just do it with your own data. And yeah, so let's do this. I don't know, I don't expect many people to be new about Neo4j, but just in case, I have a little bit of an explanation. So yeah, I did this, and then the Neo4j, what it does is you have a table, a data table, and then you go and get a graph. So here we can see the actual data of my football data. You can see, I don't know, maybe it's not very clear, but well, you can see it later when I share the slides. Here, every bar is a team from the Premier League, and we have converted that in a graph. So every yellow ball or node better is a match, and then you have the home team and the away team, and then you have the league which belongs to. Because in my database I have 3 leagues. We will see it a little bit. And then, well, you can see it here. You have a team match with the date, and then you have whatever it belongs to. Okay. So the thing is that you have a new syntax for this kind of stuff, because it's not table data, so you need something that recognizes patterns, which is Cypher in this case. And the thing is that it's really simple to use, at least at first. You can do very much complicated things in here, but for getting a person that is named Tom Hanks, and he's acted in something. He's acted like as Forrest in a movie. So and I want this person. I want return P, which is the person. I have it here. Can you see my my mouse? Because I'm using it.
I don't think we see your mouse. Oh, yes, we can see your mouse.
Okay. So you have here P, which is the one you're asking for, and you want P, but you can return the whole chain and whatever you want, really. So very good and very working people did this beta version of a new driver for R. And it is on CRAN, so you can download it from CRAN, or you can download the last version from GitHub. And what I did to test it, because I was speaking to the developer, and some of us were testing it, and it has some, yeah, it needs some work, but it works like really smoothly, and you can have your data directly in R really fast. I did this with an old Mac from 2015, and it worked much better than with my new Mac, which is a potato, which something we say in Spanish is really a little bit crappy, but yeah. So I had to limit some of the stuff, some of the queries, but you will see the same thing, and it's really fast, really. So the main thing to do in this driver, you can connect to the database, of course, and you can query, of course. Otherwise, what are you going to do? And also, when you query the Neo4j database, you will have a JSON response. So in our JSONs are not really welcome, but the unmesh instruction will unmesh your data and get your data in a table, which is really useful. So, and you can also use the iGraph or the gggraph or whatever graph library you want to use for making these graphs in a R graph, or to visualize them. I used Visgraph, and it's really easy to do. Just get the data, transform it a little bit, and you can just use a library, whichever is your favorite, and just visualize it. So the data, better than to see it here, we can see the database. And how do I get out of here? Okay, I have my database here. I think we can just, okay. You see I have countries, games, leagues, and teams. I have two countries and 3 leagues, because after doing this analysis, I added the Women's League in the UK, or I don't know if this is the UK or England, but yeah, I don't really know the difference there. But this is the English league for women, and it should be working the same as the other ones, because it's the same structure. I mean, you have here your league, and then you have every match, and with the date and the home score and whatever two teams played in that date. I did this name because it was easier for me to just later get the data, but it's really not necessary because you have everything connected. So really not that necessary, but I needed the season, and I think it has, can I see this here? Sorry, here. Oh, sorry. This is games, right? Okay. You have the home score and the away score and the season and the date. So that's mostly what it is. This is every match, and then you have the teams, of course. which are linked to every match. And then you have, because I added 2 countries, I had to add the country to every league. So yeah, let's see. Okay. Let's see here something. Well, I have the relationships here. It's really easy. The away team and the home team from for a match, and then in league is for matches, for where is that match from, and then where is the league from which country is the league. Sorry. So let's see this match country. Oh, it's what did I do this? Oh, okay. So yeah, let's do some of this. See, oh, sorry.
I love that you're doing live code. It is very bold.
I hope it works.
I mean, everyone understands the demo demons that come out.
Yeah, this should returns 10 countries, which I only have 2, of course. And same thing we can do with teams, which I have more. So yeah. Yeah. And sorry about this. And yeah, you can see this. This is all stuff because, as I told you, after this I added another league, which was the women's league. But yeah, just to get a little bit of perspective. Well, let's query this. Team match count. See, this is right? No. Sorry.
It's okay. Mark is here to help you if we need anything.
Thank you.
Right, Mark?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were here. It's so weird that I can see you. Okay.
You got an extra S on your teams.
I have what?
You don't need the S on teams.
Oh, yeah, true. Oh, no.
So this one is counting how many teams. You've got 110 teams.
Yeah, I have 110 teams with the new league, and before I had 99, which was only the Premier and La Liga. The Premier is the English league, and La Liga is Spanish league for men too. Yeah, oh, sorry. This is how many games, which now will be more, but yeah. Okay. Okay. So about home advantage, this is something that we always say, that if you have more chances to win at home when you play at home, but we can see that in the data too. And yeah, it's more like a state of mind, because it's not like you play better or anything, but you can see here in this fan image that these are all Barca fans, and then you have the Atletico de Madrid fans, which are really far, and I don't think the players will see them. And yeah, so let's see this. And for measuring that, what I did is, like, I counted the winnings at home and away, which are always a celebration, of course, because you want to win, which is the main goal of football. And when you lose away, I didn't count losing away, because it's just, well, you have lost, but it can happen. It's not that tragedy. I don't know if you watch football. I hope so and imagine so, but
it's always a tragedy when you lose.
It's always a tragedy, but when
England fans are used to that tragedy.
When you lose away, it's less of a tragedy. Like kind of, well, I could expect that, but when you lose at home, it's really, really bad. Like nobody wants to lose at home with your fans there and your parents. I'm sure they are there, and yeah.
And so we're able to do this analysis because in your model you've captured in the game which team is at home and which team is away, right?
Of course, yes.
Cool.
And we can see this. I don't have the actual RStudio open, but just so you see what it is in the data, you can see it here. Is very well marked. It's called Home Advantage, and you can see I get the teams which home score is greater than away score. I didn't count for the how do you say that when two teams has the same they have the same score. Oh
tie.
Yeah.
The Americans say a tie, and then the British say a draw.
Yeah. That's true.
Oh, same language. Not really.
So weird.
Yeah, I didn't count for that because it didn't make mostly any difference. And also you want the 3 points in your league, so you want to win, not to be tied or to tie. Yeah. So I looked for the winners at home and I looked for the winners away. And I compare with the whole, with all the winnings, and we can see here the results, which are here, which is really interesting because I didn't do any statistical test, but you can here you can see it in the plot. I mean, well.
So hang on, Bear. You have to explain. How do we read this? How do we read this chart? What's on the axis measuring?
So the x-axis is measuring the difference between winning and how many wins you have and how many wins at home you have. So for example, well, these are really, really small teams. They are only in first class or whatever it's called, just for a few matches, so don't count on them. But here in the orange one, you can see Barcelona and Atletico de Madrid and Real Madrid, which are one of the strongest. And you can see they win 0.10 more times at home that they do away.
So that little, like the line, kind of the
0 is if you win the same times at home that the same times away.
Then you'd be 0.
Yeah, then you'll be a 0.
Oh, so there's 2 teams that are better away.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
Oh, they are.
There's no advantage there.
Yeah, they're very away, but yeah, they are really like. You should count, you should count the teams that are always in the main league. This Lerida and Cordoba, they are really small, and they had the chance to play with the big teams just like for a couple of moments, and then they went down again. So, this kind of cleaning should have done before. Yeah.
So Mike French says the way that we interpret this, that you have about 11% chance more of winning at home. Is that how you read it?
Yeah, you could read it like that. It's not really a statistical test, so the chance is not. It's really small. But yeah, you have like 5% more here if you are in the 0.05, and here you have 10% more chances, and yes.
I'm wondering about the people who are more likely to lose playing at home. Like, what's the difference there? What's happening?
Those are really, really small teams. Yes, just as I said, I should have done some cleaning before doing this.
Next time.
Yeah, but the main thing is that we can see here that the big teams which are here. Again, this. Ooh, this here, they win more times at home that way. And in the Premier League, it happens the same thing, which you have here a really small team. We could call it an outlier, but it is really not. But it is, because it only played like 2 or 3 times in the Premier, and then it just went down again, you know. And here you have Arsenal and Liverpool, which are the biggest, and the Manchester United here, and you can see they win more at home than outside. Yeah. Even without an statistical test to see if this is relevant or whatever, it is in the data. You can see it directly just looking at wins at home and away.
Adam Cowley said that in the book Soccernomics, it says that the home team advantage doesn't significantly affect the player's performance, but it affects the referees because they become more biased towards the home team.
That's awesome, and that's really a possibility, because
that's going to be Adam's next project, to look at the goals per fouls against. Could be a good metric.
Yeah, and also they feel so pressure because there are so many people from the home team there that they are really pressured to just favor one team or another, you know. Same thing happens in the World Cup, but it's much more difficult because everyone is foreign. So yeah. Okay, we can. Is there any other question? I can move on to the.
No, we've just got people agreeing that Adam's doing a meetup, so it's gone well for him.
Analysis. And FYI, you know, we do, the one thing that's cool about this new software that we're using, the CROWDCAST, is that you're actually able to bring other people onto the screen to ask questions. So if you want to ask questions to be a face-to-face, you could do that too. We can bring you into the video chat at the end. Maybe.
That's good. That's really cool. Yeah, of course.
Adam, get on the analysis, and then we can bring you in.
Okay.
Do it right now before the event.
Before starting another meetup. Yeah. So yeah, this is a really cool image that you can see how the pressure feels when this is a German team. I don't know who played. I don't really remember, but they are watching them. So yeah, that is really creepy and awesome at the same time. And we're gonna measure competitiveness, and which is another thing. I found this in some cool blog. I have the references somewhere. I will share them too. And it was a really interesting metric, because what you do here is that you measure if there are many teams are really strong, or if all the teams are really balanced, and you can see the competition. Here I have 2 tables. They are from different years, but you can see here that Barcelona got almost all the same, almost all the points you can get from a league. So you get 3 points if you win, you get 1 point if you draw, and you get 0 points if you lose. So there are 38 matches every league, at least in La Liga. And so you say 38 times 3. So you can get maximum 140 points. Barcelona and Real Madrid in 2 different leagues got 100, which means they won almost all the matches. So that's not really a competition, right? When you have one really big or a strong team and they start to win all, and you don't have a competition. So I think I read about this in another soccer book. I don't really remember the name, but I have it over here. I can share this later. And he said about the he was talking about the money that they had, that the strong teams had, and how that doesn't mean that they have strong teams just because they are a strong team they have more money, but not vice versa, you know. Not because they have more money they are a strong team. So it's not really correlated. But yeah, here in 2 different leagues they were really, really big. So what I did was 2 teams are connected if they in one match one of them wins or there is a draw. Oh, sorry. If one round one wins and the other one there is a draw, the other round there is a draw, and if in the 2 rounds there is 2 draws, or vice versa, the first point, the other team wins the first round and there is a draw in the second round. So basically you have every team is connected except if one team have won both rounds. Yeah, that's true. And so when you have a more connected graph, which we are doing is we are moving from one scheme to another one, and we are doing another graph, but with different connections. So if you have a more connected graph, then you have more competition and you have more uncertainty of what is going to happen. And if there is less connections, then it means that at least 1 or 2 or 3 teams, they are really, really strong, and you know they are going to be in the first positions. So if we look at this league, we can see the strongest teams, and you can see here Real Madrid and Barcelona in La Liga, and which is almost predictable, right? But it's also interesting to see the Las Palmas and Barcelona is connected, because that means that they got points from the round and round. They both got points, and same thing with Eibar, but of course Eibar with Valencia. You can see 2 connections because, well, I did this with Bisgraph, and because it has a different ID, it draws both connections, but it's really just one. So, same thing in the Premier League, but with less teams, and it makes sense, right? That you have Liverpool and Manchester City, and yeah. And it is nice to see if the competition is going up or going down over the years. And it looks like that the number of connection is going down, so there is less competitiveness over the years. So there are like a few teams really strong, and just the other ones are just scrapping for whatever is left, and that's not really really interesting, because you don't have uncertainty in certain matches, right? And yeah, so more teams win both games, and more teams lose both games. That's what it means, that it has less connections over the years. And before this, I can show you this in the code. Sorry about this. I don't know how to get out of here. Okay. You can see this in the code, which is here. And I did this directly in R with dplyr, but I can show you some of the Neo4r methods, which are really cool because you can integrate in with dplyr. And here we have I got all the games, all the matches, and I just call the connections. I just call the query from the database, and basically I just put it in a data frame and just change the did three separate columns, which is really cool. That is really well integrated with the dplyr and with data frames, because you can maybe you cannot query all, because you maybe have a really big database, but you can do little queries and just get your data frames and do whatever you need to do, and just push your results to Neo4j again. So yeah, you can see it here. I did the connections here. You can try this. Well, I will talk about it now. And here you can see just with two different transformation, and just did the bis network, which is what you see here. This is a bis network. It's really easy to use, and it's really not that different from what you are used to. So yeah, what I was going to tell you is that there is a Docker working. I have the link in the repository, and you can download directly the script and the data and import the data, and you have your Neo4j in a Docker whatever it's called, and you already have the R and the package, and you can start working with this. I don't think it has the last I don't remember, but I don't think it has the Women's League, because I added that later. But you have the file in the repository, so you can also import this in your Neo4j directly from the package, which is really cool. And yeah, and that is all. And if there is any French people here, congratulations for winning the World Cup. And good luck to USA, which is the favorite for the Women's World Cup.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions that is not afraid to come on a video live so we could test out the CROWDCAST?
Yeah.
Anybody?
I will stop my screen, but if you want me to show you something, I can just show you again. I don't know how to.
Uh-oh. We lost her. We'll bring her back. Let's bring her back.
Must have accidentally left.
She did. She closed. You know, you probably. She's just like, bye.
See you later, guys. It's on you now.
She's going back.
I didn't want the questions.
No.
Can you imagine if you could do that in a real live talk and be like, God.
Oh my God, that would be convenient.
I can still hear you and see you, and yeah, but no.
We're like, no, mayday. Somebody dropped the mic.
Yeah.
Is anybody bold enough to join us in the live stream video and ask Bea a question? Somebody asked if you can reshare the Docker call.
Yeah, I will share the
actually, Mark shared Bea's GitHub for the project too.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, so you can find the Docker stuff on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the interesting thing would be if somebody wanted to pick this up and like, what would you say is the next thing that somebody, if they were like, oh, cool, I want to continue with what Bea's done. What's the next thing you were thinking could be done?
I am really interested in seeing if the same thing happens to the woman, because people say that women don't know how to play football, but I think there is more uncertainty in the women's league than in the men's league, which is more interesting because you don't know who is going to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, you can do it. You can do that with the new data, and also it would be really cool, which I haven't done that, but I'm planning on it, to submit some issues to so people can still develop the driver.
Thomas asked, in this particular case study, what could you do with a graph database that could not be done in a relational database?
Well, I think everything can be done from another point of view, but the thing is where it is easier or faster or more appropriate to do from. So in this case, if you're looking for relationships, then the thing to do is to use relational data. A database that can measure relations, and you can do it. You can even do it with the CSV or the Excel. That's not really. That's not a problem. But here is that the database is prepared to do this kind of stuff. And I did that in R, but you can do it directly in the database. So yeah.
And I guess if you started to add in like other things connected to the original data source, like if you started like bringing in the different stadiums or the locations where the teams are, or if you wanted to actually capture more details about each of the matches, then it starts to become really easy to do that.
Let me just check it out, because when I added the last data file, it has a lot of more information. It had the stadium name and the referee, but it didn't match with my current schema, so I just didn't add it. But it has a much more information. And if you want the hours, or if you want if there was more minutes, or the relationships are much better to work with, because otherwise you will have a table with a lot of blanks and with a lot of NAs, which nobody likes, and yeah.
Adam asked a question. Adam, do you want to come on the video and ask?
Karine is desperate for someone to come on the video.
Ryan,
come on, Adam,
suggested that we try this because it's a new software and this is our first time using it. So we have Elena and Adam asked questions, and I want to see, do you guys want to ask it live? We can bring you onto the video to ask it live if you want to. Adam, should I just like add Adam to the? I could just add him.
Like you did with
without asking him.
Poor Adam.
All right, let me see if I can add him. All right, I'm inviting Adam to the screen.
I mean, I guess with the referees, then Adam is able to do his referee home bias analysis, see which referees are the most most likely to have home teams running.
That actually would be really cool in World Cups and in the Champions League, and because the referees are really biased, really biased, much more than in leagues. And so that would be really cool just to confirm this to me, because hi.
Hey, we even got people.
How to get in?
We've even got people +1ing for you to come on the screen.
And also, so Elena, really quick, because Elena can't actually join the video, but she said, how impacted data quality in your experiment in the networks?
My data was actually really clean. The only thing that I didn't account for was what I told you about this kind of teams that go up and down. How do you say it in English when you have to?
They get relegated and promoted.
Sorry?
Teams get relegated and promoted between the leagues.
Yeah. That's the thing. And I didn't account for that because that was kind of messy you have to count the matches they play and whoever they play with. And yeah, that's really a little bit of more analysis and data cleaning to do. But I think what I was trying to say was really clear without cleaning data.
Adam, have you completed your analysis on the referee bias?
Not yet, no. So it'd be really interesting to look at the stats and to see the number of fouls for and against and how many goals were scored or free kicks within a certain area. So I remember reading them ages ago about Fergie time with Manchester United, and Alex Ferguson would sort of berate the referees until he got 5, 6, 7 minutes of stoppage time, and they'd always get a penalty in that time. So it'd be interesting to see that. But no, I guess my main question is there anything else in R that you think would be useful for analyzing the data?
Well, I used the driver for Neo4j, which is Neo4r, and I like to use tidyverse when the data is not that big, which is this case. And yeah, in this case, in this particular case, because I was using graphs, I used this graph, which is I think is the easiest package to visualize graphs. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I jump off so Joe can join.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Adam, for trying out with us. I can't wait to see your analysis when you're ready to present it. All right, let's see. Now we're going to add Joe.
People are going to be scared to join us in the future.
Hey, they don't have to accept if they don't want to.
It's like, welcome, on Big Brother live.
Yeah, maybe we have to
did we have any questions from anybody else, or is it just Joe?
Just Joe. Ellen asked the question, but I already asked her. Oh, Joe rejected.
Joe's not up for it.
Joe's my invitation to join.
He's only up for volunteering Adam, so I can ask Joe's question for him then.
Okay.
So Joe was asking, have you any plans for adding time dimension, like timestamps or time trees to the matches or to the data set?
Yeah, I would love to. It's not that the thing why I didn't use more variables is because I couldn't find for all the data the same variables. So I wanted to just to find something that I could use for all the leagues. But I would love to do some players analysis when they move from one team to another, which I think is really interesting. And also the manager, school manager, right? The one that is like Guardiola, yeah. And
it's just Guardiola. we've got a Real Madrid fan in our office who's not a big fan of Guardiola.
So yeah, I would love to do that because I think just looking at the news, you can see that you're changing players or whatever, they do better or they do worse. And I would really love to add that and to use that. About the time, I think the most interesting thing is that the time added at the end, which is kind of tell you how the game is going, which is not always a great sign. And you can just, I think you can get some stuff from there. But as I tell you, if you get the data, just share it.
I think we need to make a Women's World Cup graph now. That's like our, yeah. We got to do it. Got to do it before the tournament finishes. There, we got to get on it.
Yeah, the thing is that I don't know where to get this kind of stuff, and maybe if you follow the matches, you can do it yourself. But otherwise, it's not that easy. At least for more complicated stuff like players or something like that. And also, before I forget, if you want to play with the driver, there is the movie example done. Here you have it. And it's the same example that it is in the Neo4j examples, and it is done in R. So yeah, if you want to just play with the driver.
Wow. Adam said he found that Sky Sports website is the best resource for scraping data. And then Mike French volunteered Michael McKenzie, saying that he might know. Also,
there's a lot of volunteering going on.
Everyone's volunteering one another.
That's really good. I mean, scraping is always a pain, and if someone does it, yeah, nice.
For the Men's World Cup last year, I was watching the network tab of the FIFA website, and you could see where the API of where they were getting the data from was. So if we can find that, then that's even quicker.
That's interesting. Okay.
Cool. I think we've run out of people to bully into coming onto the onto the chat.
But thanks, you guys. Thanks for joining, everyone. Bia, thank you so much for
thank you
doing
for
this
me.
And having to deal with the rescheduling of this online meetup.
No problem. That was really fun. This was really fun, and I'm sorry for leaving before. I didn't mean to.
Bye.
But yeah, thank you for coming. Bye-bye.
Yes, if you're in Europe, or I guess more east, have a good weekend. And for Karine and everybody else in America, have a good Friday. And don't forget to like the video on YouTube so that other people can find it afterwards. I'll put that link in there.
And you can also contact Bia directly on the community site thread.
Yeah.
And if people watching after the live stream ends and have an idea of where she could scrape data from, that would make it easy. Go and let her know that in the.
There is a thread there. I will put up the links and the book I talked about before, which is interesting too.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you, everyone.
And people are saying, great job. Everyone's saying that they loved it. You got a lot of thumbs up and thank yous.
I will have a nice weekend then.
And I'll have a nice Friday.
You got to go and do some work now. Cool. Bye, everyone.
All right, bye.
Okay. Bye.